I came to Calcutta with a lot of wonder in my eyes. I had grown up hearing most magical stories about Calcutta. It's where jazz was born in India. You know, you had the Chinese community here. You had American soldiers posted here. I mean, there's incredible things you keep finding out. Virginia Woolf's mother was apparently born in Calcutta. Like, how incredible is that? Calcuttans have a great appreciation for the good things in life. What is called their love of the literary is just a love of beauty, of pausing, of taking note of things. So you'll see all these electric boxes across the city that have art all over them. And that's a very Calcutta thing, to beautify the smallest thing. And I think people take time out for that beauty. And that's what I really appreciate about the city. So yeah, maybe Calcutta invented the work-life balance. I don't know. I'm Karuna Ezara Parikh. I live in Calcutta, and though I've done a lot of things in life, I am primarily a poet and a writer. I think it's fair to say I would never have written my books if I hadn't shifted to Calcutta. That's just a fact. I was trying for over a decade before that, and I never saw them through. The stillness you require to put together art in that way, I don't think I would have gained it if I hadn't moved here. I think this is probably one of the poems, the one I'm about to read right now. It's called Joy, and I think it's probably one of the poems that I wrote soon after coming to Calcutta. I had forgotten how to have fun with my words because I was writing them for other people, people who wanted such serious things. But me, I want some wine, world peace, crocodiles to keep their skin, elephants their teeth, many baked goods on Sunday, and countries to loosen their borders. Now, if that doesn't strike you as joyous, my friend, what will? I came here at a time when I was really burned out. I was going through a very difficult time in my life. I was extremely burnt out. And coming here actually felt very, very healing because the city allows for that. You know, it's the kind of place where you will see people napping. You know, you will see people taking time out. You will see poetry on walls randomly. And then there are people stopping to read that poetry as well. I think though Calcutta is beloved, there's been plenty written and said about how it is a disaster as well. I mean, it's a city that's full of poverty. It's a difficult city. It has a reputation for being a city where nothing actually works. Historically, for many, many years, there was this exodus of young people leaving the city because they felt they couldn't get the kind of work here that they could get in other cities. It wasn't a city known for its commerce. So for many, many generations, actually, I think Calcutta saw young, able, dynamic people leaving for a Bombay or a Delhi or a Bangalore. And I see that changing now, which is very, very interesting. I moved to the city about 7 years ago, and it was around that time that I started seeing this change come across Calcutta. And I've been very lucky to be part of it and to see that happen. And you feel like you're in a space that is growing, that something very interesting is happening here.
I want us to recreate some of Karuna's favorite dishes. Can we get one bhetki filleted? I want one fillet kind of salt cured like we usually do. We'll pan-sear that. Maybe do a bablong with some tobiko. The other one, just do a noon holud. Yeah, keep the kata also for me separately. We'll make a quick ala minute tel jhol with that. right?
For the first time, a lot of young people who say studied abroad or went off to other cities in India to go to college decided not to stay there but to come back to Calcutta and build here instead. When did you guys open?
We opened in 2015, November.
And I came here 16, yeah. And you're now the 5th best restaurant in the nation. Can you imagine? Yeah. Truly, you're someone who is part of this new generation of Calcuttans who chose to stay in Calcutta. Like, what was it that made you stay here and not look for opportunity outside the city?
I think it was the work I was doing with the artisans in neighboring villages, but also Shantiniketan, and just having access to that.
Yeah.
Really, I don't think I could have that experience in too many places, especially in the US and other places. So I realized that this is where I'm going to feel that kind of joy in creating work here. So that's kind of why, what pulled me into staying back in Calcutta, and then I trapped my husband as well.
There's also a great appreciation that I'm seeing now for the heritage of Calcutta, right? The architecture, which is one of the grandest things about the city. You see that there's a deep respect that's coming for it. Perhaps it was taken for granted before. Perhaps the imminent loss of this has finally pushed people towards sort of trying to maintain it better.
Hi.
Hi.
So we are doing in the footsteps of the Raj Dalhousie Square walk.
Yep.
And this is a walk in which we focus on the colonial history of the city and the institutions that the British made and why they called it the first city of the empire, why they called it the most important city for them after the city of London. So we take people around on this walk to show them how Calcutta kind of gave birth to the idea of a modern new India starting from this neighborhood. This is Calcutta 700001.
Yeah, come, let's go. There was a moment in Calcutta's history where it was divided very much between the colonial side, the British side, and then the more Bengali side. But that changed over time, right? So this is where the headquarters of Remington used to be?
Yeah.
Up until what year, do you know?
What happened?
So you'll have really quaint, what were quintessentially Bengali middle-class neighborhoods, but they have buildings that have taken from the architecture of colonial India. One of the things that defines Calcutta's mindset is its complete respect and adoration of the secular. It makes sure that every culture, every religion feels respected, loved, accepted, and part of the fabric of the city. I feel like it's also a much gentler culture that exists here. Even on the streets, people are quite nice to each other. People stop to joke with each other, they smile at each other, and I really love that about it.
I love it. If that's a trade-off between, like, say, very fast economic development and people being nice on the streets, I'll take the nice people on the streets than the super fast zooming
ahead. And
in.
that tells me you're a Calcuttan. The fact that you would choose that.
Definitely.
Are we going in that direction?
We're going in that direction.
One of the theories that people like to repeat about this city is that, they don't have a working mindset because Calcutta was always so lush when it came to crop that they didn't need to work. They said that the rice just grew in the water, the fish were, available in abundance. And so since food was available, people didn't create like a hard-working mentality. I think the city has made me a more thoughtful person. I think I take more time with things. I'm actually allowing myself to enjoy things and let it seep in, and I don't think we do that enough. Yes, you've eaten a lot of fish today. I think we can all admit that we don't spend enough time on our joys. And Calcutta lets you spend time on joy, which is, quite wonderful. It's a time where we're seeing a an influx of, say, bars and restaurants and museums and art programs and bands coming into the city. Things like that are popping up all the time.
Love your eggs over here. You really haven't got to this. So this is the surprise course to my tasting menu. Custard eggs, wrapped caramel, the fillet. It is, I think, Sienna secret sauce.
There is a sense in other cities where the mindset is much more one of success and hustle, and Calcutta is just a little, small town kind of place. I beg to differ. It's an interesting time and we're going to see what happens with it. But it's fun to be here at this time of flux, at this time of terrible movement, where there's like so much going on. So yeah, it is magical being here right now in particular.